Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Friday to you. We're looking at Litecoin, helping understand best practice and big picture. This is more important a request from one of my community members, of course, Zach and or whomever else might be interested in. I'm honestly been looking at this for a little while and I want to kind of show you what I mean by that. So if you're new to the channel, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I truly do love teaching people to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. My goal is to help you become a better trader. So if you want that for yourself, cryptocash.tech is a website. Link in the description below. Looks kind of like this here for now. We are upgrading and having a new website built. So this time next year will actually be just fine, or next month rather, first of the month next year. And yeah, you can register to become a better trader essentially. Take part in my trading academy community and or signal group where I basically teach you everything I know. I've taken about 17 years of knowledge and effectively taken it and laid it out, so to speak, right? And if you want to be part of the signals, we just recently took profits 24% in about 3 days. There's not a tremendous amount of opportunity in the market right now, depending on the trading style that you have. So just keep that in mind. You never want to force a trade. So just bear in mind that, signals, they come and go. I'm trying to increase the consistency, but honestly, I can't control the market. And we've seen nothing but stuck on stupid from Bitcoin for the last 7 to 8 days, right? Minus yesterday a little bit, right? So again, cool stuff there. If you want to be obviously part of my esteemed members of traders, I mean, these guys are just killing it. The whole community is just raking it in, and I'm super proud of them for just all the results here. I mean, Bad's really kicking it up a notch. Same with Jimmy, and obviously we've got Blessed Acres here, man. This guy's a champ. So keep up the good work, y'all. I'm really, really proud of you. Thank you so much for just being amazing parts of my life. And again, we're all using the same exchange, Bitget. Highly recommend it. If you're in the United States, you will need a VPN. Link in the description below for that. But bottom line is that you have a $10,000 prize pool monthly, and it effectively allows for you to benefit from that consistently, just based on trading volume and or profit and loss ratio. Okay, so a really cool opportunity to be able to offer that to my community, and whomever else wants to register, use the link in the description below, you'll qualify. So here's the thing with Litecoin. We can see somewhat of a support level here at about 69. We could round up to say $70. And basically how I pulled that number out is previously we see a high back here in 2020 before it went parabolic. And then of course, we have the most recent high is pretty similar there, right? So if you see a point where like the price keeps hitting and bouncing off, that might be a good place to put a support level in or a resistance level. Again, it's not set in stone, but that's probably a range that we're going to probably see the most support and or resistance. We can kind of see that if we look here close. We can see this, we had trouble getting past that point here, and then there's a strong likelihood we saw a short squeeze occur where the price action shot up through there roughly about 2 weeks ago. Okay, so again, just something to kind of look at. We can go ahead and pull up some larger Fibonacci retracement levels here, kind of see roughly what we're looking at here as well. We could even reverse these to kind of see what the probability is of the price going up from here, and effectively how much higher could it go, okay? So again, some really cool stuff there in that regard, but all in all, looking pretty decent. And in that sense, what we want to look at next would be, we're going to look at some standard indicators, right? So what we do is we tend to take a look at the relative strength index and understand where we're at in that scale here. Because if we see the strength of this is decreasing, but it's not terrible. It's actually good because we're over 50 on the RSI. But there is potential for the price action to come down a little bit lower, potentially bounce off that point. Okay, so we want to be mindful of that. And if we do continue to lose this support level here at $77, right at 70, coincidentally, really close to that same support range for that support level we saw previously, back all the way to 2020, and recent is right there consolidating close to about $70, which is very close to that Fibonacci retracement level. So we can see that $70/$71 will be somewhat of a support range. So the price does fall to this area. We should expect the price to continue to maintain itself above that. Okay, let's take a look at the moving averages and kind of see roughly what that looks like. This is beautiful. You don't see this a lot in a lot of coins. And this is something that I saw earlier that I thought is very beneficial. And what I mean by that is, for one, we have the MACD, that MACD previously converged. But bottom line is we also had a convergence here, basically a golden cross, where the 50 intersected with the 200 in an upward fashion. Now that happened because of course, this increase here. But once you see that, the likelihood of the price maintaining above this point here is extremely high. And if you also see this trend line here, again, I just kind of drew it out diagonally, you can kind of see that there is a trend line forming concurrent with the 50-day SIP moving average. Okay, so again, some positive stuff here. I think there's a strong likelihood the price will stay in place or go higher, and the probability of it going below $70, especially with this moving average coming up here, is very low. Okay, so I think 70 would be potentially a second, or just say 71 is a round number, potential second entry if you're going to take a target right now. So me, if I were to set this up just loosely without looking at anything else, I would take entry at 76 and then of course have a secondary entry point at 71, and potentially buy the dip if that were to happen. Now, the 20-day set moving average is proving to work as a stronger support level here. So we can see, of course, this trend line forming. But again, the 20 is not a super strong moving average. It helps you identify immediate trends, not necessarily longer term trends. So to me, seeing that 20 there, the price wicking down and bouncing off that, that's positive, but it doesn't imply it's going to just go up from here. That does imply, though, that if we do lose that level, it's no big deal. The 50's got our back. Okay, that's generally what I'm hoping for when thinking about. Now, if we take a look at the moving average convergence divergence, we are definitely diverging here to the downside. There's no doubt about that. That's happening right now. And of course, it's got some momentum, if you will, but it still hasn't broken this plane. So the probability of it coming tremendously lower, again, is pretty low, but you can see this type of pendant pattern forming here, which commonly breaks to the upside. So that's why I would be excited or interested in taking an entry here with a second potential target to ensure that if we come down that low, we get filled. Heaven forbid the price goes up, we still got some skin in the game. Okay, there's different strategies, of course, that you can have, but that is something I like to do myself personally in bear markets. But the key here is that the moving averages are doing very well. Not a lot of coins besides BNB and a small handful of others can say this. And that's why you want to try to take investments. Again, this is an investment, it's not gambling, in the right coins here, the coins that are effectively going to help you get where you need to go. And this coin is showing strength. Okay, so that's the important thing. Take a look at the 4 hour. Let's quickly go ahead and wrap this up here. We can go ahead and see that we are above and below 50 on the RSI. When you're range bound like this, you're not going to see a tremendous amount of definitive directions. Okay, so again, hovering right in this range, no big deal. It's not stressful because we're under 50 on the RSI. It just implies that we could see a little bit further downside. And if so, no big deal. Comes down here to bounce off 71. Okay. Convergence here is, well, recently converged, now we're diverging. So again, not a lot of strength. Not a lot of reliability there because we're mostly stuck in this range-bound activity. So I don't put a lot of strength into those things, honestly, when we are range-bound. Okay, so again, being range-bound, you kind of approach it a little different. Moving averages are nice, but here's the cool thing. Look at this 200-day SMA, working its way up concurrent with that 50. You do the math, the 200-day sub-moving average on the 4 hours, very, very similar to a 50 on the daily. So that's why those two are the most important, because they carry the most weight. Again, the larger the moving average, the stronger the resiliency is going to be on either direction, depending on which side you're on. So again, that is kind of what we're looking at there for Litecoin. On the 4 hour, I'd say mostly positive, but not fantastic, just going sideways here. But the daily, I'm super stoked about the daily, which is very, very good. Taking a look at the Ichimoku cloud, we can see we're kind of in the cloud right now. So that's another reason why you'd want to have multiple entry targets if you were to consider taking a position right now. Because again, we're kind of below this resistance level. The probability of the price dropping is higher. We have basically the conversion line dropping below the baseline. That's kind of a first red flag. Second red flag, of course, as well, is basically the lagging span is essentially intersecting with the price action. So when that happens, that really just tells you want to close your long position if you had one open. I think it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that you probably should have closed it by now, but again, that's kind of where it's telling us. We're also potentially losing this support level here, and the likelihood of the price action dropping below this lower lead is higher, so it seems like we're going to probably see further downside. But again, you have different strategies. You could wait for it to come down, miss your entry. You could take target right now and have a second entry target add to your position later. There's different strategies, but I like that strategy because you at least get some skin in the game, and it's definitely something that could potentially benefit you if the price goes up and hits your target. There's nothing worse than the fear of missing out, but actually no, there's a lot worse than that. But it sucks when you have a good trade setup and you fail to take entry because you're worried about finding the bottom. When in truth, it's rare to find the bottom in most cases. Okay, again, even though $71 seems like a realistic price range, it may not even come down that low. It could stay where it's at and keep going up. That's why you might want to consider multiple entries. Again, just some things that I like to do personally that helps me stay afloat in bear markets. So again, we all have different strategies, but that's one that's worked very well for me. So that's pretty much where we're at here. I would say the biggest shining light here is that the daily looks fantastic. The 4 hour looks kind of standard. It looks like it's kind of just going sideways. And obviously the hourly doesn't give us a full indication. So what this is basically telling us here is that big picture, Litecoin is probably going to be profitable. Is it going to hit its targets immediately if you set them? Probably not, but it very well could. It has potential to spike up, less potential to spike down, but if you have a second entry target closer to 71, that might be appropriate. So to me, I'm going to structure a trade closer to current entry plus the lowest point in which the price should go at 71, and then average the entry out if it were to come down. If not, we got skin in the game to hit some targets on the way up. And I would say my profit targets would be somewhere between 85 and 77. Okay, so probably 79, maybe 81, but your final target should be in the range of 85 because again, that is a key Fibonacci retracement level when the price action's having trouble getting past that point. All right, again, hopefully that makes sense and I explained that correctly. Thank you so much for watching. Zach, appreciate you. I know this video was something you requested, so thanks again for that. And obviously to whomever else watched, thanks again. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye.